Welcome to all. So in this video we will start the next unit, that is combinational logic circuits. Okay, so as an introduction part, so combinational logic circuits are made up of or made up from basic logic NAND, NOR and NOT gate. So ultimately, so for the combinational logic circuit, you require NAND, NOR or NOT gate that are combined or connected together to produce more complicated switching circuits. So when we talk about complicated switching circuits, so when you build some chipset or when you build some logic, so if that logic has to be implemented in the system, definitely you require some circuits. So how to resolve that circuit thing, or how to build that circuit, or how to give the input to that circuit, and how to predict some output from that circuit, we require some complex things. So you can go for this logic circuits along with the help of NAND, NOR or NOT. So these logic gates are the building block of combinational logic circuit. So the whenever we talk about this logic gates, so they are the base, or they are the foundation for combinational logic circuits. An example of combinational circuits is a decoder, which converts the binary code data present at its input into number of different output lines. So decoder, what it will do is, so it will take the number of binary code or bits as an input, and it is going to give the different output lines one at a time, producing an equivalent decimal code at its output. So ultimately, based on that lines, it is going to give a decimal code, okay, from binary code. So it will be, the output will be converted to decimal code. Ultimately, the combinational logic circuits can be very simple or very complicated, and any combinational circuit can be implemented with only NAND and NOR gates, as these are classed as universal gates. So NAND and NOR gates are called as universal gates. That is the reason why it can be simple. The combinational logic circuit can be simple, or it can be complicated. So that is based on the type of circuit the one builds, or the developer builds, something like that. Okay, the three main ways of specifying the function of a combinational logic circuits are: first one is Boolean algebra. Okay, first one is Boolean algebra, next one is truth table, and last one is logic diagram. So when you deal with Boolean algebra, so this forms the algebraic expression showing the operation of the logic circuit for each input variable, either true or false, the results in a logic 1 output. So ultimately, when you go for Boolean algebra concept, ultimately you are going to get true or false thing, or 0 or 1, isn't it? Because if you want to represent true or false in the system along with some electronic data, then definitely you can go for 0 and 1. You have no other options to represent it. Okay, so that is one way of specifying the function in a combinational logic circuit. And second one is truth table. Okay, a truth table defines the function of a logic gate by providing the concise list that shows all the output states in a tabular form for each possible combination of input variable that the gate could encounter. So the meaning is, so when you go for truth table, I'm pretty sure that you have already built some truth table also. Ultimately, what you are going to do, so you will be having some input and you are predicting the output, or you are writing the output based on the input you pass. It may be 0 or 1, 1 or 0. Again, you have some operations. It may be AND operation, OR operation, or XOR operation, or NOT operation. Again, it depends what kind of operations you are putting to that particular inputs. Okay, so you can build a particular logic circuit using the truth table also, because you will know what kind of output you are going to get after building some truth table along with the input as well as the operation. Okay, both are required. No, not only just input. If you have input, if you don't know what kind of operations you want to perform on that input, that is not No, you cannot predict anything, or you cannot go for some usage, isn't it? If you want to get some particular result, you should know what kind of operation you have to insert or you have to put on that particular input. So truth table is one of the way. Next thing is logic diagram. So this is a graphical representation of logic circuit that shows the wiring and connections of each individual logic gate. So ultimately when you go for logic diagram, so you will be having gates as well as graphical representation. So this is one of the easy way to represent or specify the combinational logic circuit, because say as we are human beings, instead of going for all the numbers and dealing with the zeros and ones, it is better for us to represent a particular thing in a graphical way. And as a human being, we can grasp that particular concept very easily when you have some graphical representation of some circuits, isn't it? So that is the one of the easiest way I can say for specifying the function of a combinational logic circuit. Okay, so they are represented by specific graphical symbol that implements the logic circuit. So ultimately, out of three, logic diagram is one of the easiest way to identify. But if you want to get some effective thing or technical thing, then definitely you can go for truth table or Boolean algebra. Okay, if you are very good at mathematical concepts, then definitely you can go for Boolean algebra, and if you are well with the numbers, then you can go for truth table. And if you are good at representation, graphical representations and representing something, operations or functions using some graphics, then definitely you can go for logic diagram. So ultimately these three are the main ways of specifying the functions of a combinational logic circuit. Fine. So you can see this image. So you have multiple inputs in that particular image. You can see you have multiple inputs like A, B, C, and so on. You are giving that to that particular inputs to a function. Okay, so f of input, so whatever the input you are giving, so there will be some functions. Based on that, you are going to get the output. So one or more output can be expected. So in this case, in this image, you will have x and y, but based on the type of input you give, based on the functions you create, or based on the circuits you have, combinational logic circuits in that particular chipset, or in that box or black box, or it may be anything. It may be the circuit can be anything, but based on the input, after performing some operations, you are going to get one or more output. So this is the thing. As combinational logic circuits are made up from individual logic gates only, so they can be also considered as a decision making circuit. So you have this particular thing using logic gates. You are making this particular combinational logic circuit using the logic gates. So ultimately this can be considered as decision making circuits. Why? Because logic gates are mainly used for decision making. So if x is something and if y is something, what else you can expect from after after putting some operations, what you can expect. So something like that. So if both the inputs are 0, and if you are multiplying those two inputs, then definitely you will know the output will be 0. So some such kind of operations you will be having, such kind of decision making capacity your circuits will be having. So that is why they can be said as decision making circuits. And combinational logic is about combining logic gates together to process two or more signals in order to produce at least one output signal according to the logical function of each logic gate. So ultimately what they're trying to say they have given some standard set of sentences in the form of paragraph, but ultimately you have already done this. You have built some logic circuit, you have written some truth tables. You know, if you pass two inputs to a particular AND gate, what kind of output you are going to get, isn't it? If you pass two input signals for an AND gate, definitely you will know what kind of output signal you are going to get in the later stage, isn't it? That is what they have written in their standard way of English. That is nothing but your actual operation, whatever you perform on a particular program. Fine. Next, common combinational circuits made up from individual logic gates that carry out a desired application include multiplexer, demultiplexer, encoders, decoders, full and half adders, etc. So multiplexers, you have some separate concept. Multiplexer means you are so multiplexing means if you have multiple inputs, you are combining those multiple inputs and you are giving to a particular thing. Demultiplexer means if you have one channel, you are catalyzing, you are categorizing or catalyzing the output into so many channels. Next, encoder means you are coding it. Decoding means definitely whatever the coded things can be or reverse process, I can say it is a reverse process of encoding. Next, you have full adder and half adder. So I will deal with this full and half adder in the upcoming slide. So these are the some of the concepts which can be included in logic gates concept as well as combinational logic circuits, and all these things are required when you deal with the hardware components of a particular system. So you will definitely ask why we need to learn all these circuit concepts, logic gate concepts and all. So being a BCA students, definitely if you know the concepts or basics of these circuits, definitely you will know how exactly your system is working, how exactly your chipset is working, how exactly you can build the motherboard, or how exactly you will be having the circuit in the system based on that. And definitely if someone asks how exactly a particular system is taking the particular decision, or how exactly your computer system is working, definitely you will be having n number of registers, n number of memory storages, n number of circuits, n number of transistors. So many things are there in a particular hardware device, isn't it? So you should learn how exactly they go, how exactly these circuit concepts go, isn't it? That is the reason why you go for all these kind of things. Next, you have design procedure. So how exactly you can go for design procedure of a combinational logic circuit. The first point is the problem is stated. What kind of problem you are going to deal with, that particular problem has to be stated. Next, the number of available input variables and required output variables is determined. Ultimately, you should know the number of what are the input variables which is available, and what is the required output variable. That also that has to be determined. Next, the input and output variables are assigned letter symbols. Okay, so that is nothing but, say, whenever you build some logic circuit, definitely for inputs you assign x and y, output you assign result or z or any variable, isn't it? That is for your understanding and for your reference, for your resolving the particular problem, or if the problem is complex, definitely you have to bring down the complexity, isn't it? So at that time these variables will play a major role. Okay, next, the truth table that defines the required relationships between input and output is derived. So truth table is one of the important concept, because if you have this zeros and ones concept, and you have binary concepts, if you have multiple inputs and some operations, if you want to predict some output, definitely truth table will help you a lot. Okay, next, the simplified boolean function for each output is obtained. So boolean function is obtained for each output, because if you want to represent something in terms of technical things, or functional way, then definitely you require boolean function or simplified boolean function. That should not be any complex thing. There should not have any complexity to represent something. Okay, the last thing is the logic diagram is drawn. So based on that logic diagram, definitely you will see how exactly a particular thing is working. So ultimately, when you have some boolean function, if you want to minimize the complexity of a particular function, definitely you require all these steps, isn't it? You have to assign some input variable and output variable, you should predict something, and you should build a truth table. Then after seeing the truth table, you have to minimize the boolean function. After that, you are going to go for the logical diagram. Fine. So these are the some of the design procedures which is available for a combinational logic circuit. Next, you have the concept of adders. Okay, now the full adder, half adder concept will come into picture. Now the concept is adders. Now an adder is a digital circuit that performs addition of numbers. In many computers and other kinds of processors, adders are used in arithmetic logic units or ALU. This arithmetic logic unit or ALU is present in your motherboard, in your processor. Okay, so the main work of adder is to add the or for the addition of numbers. So if you want to add some numbers, definitely you require adders. Okay, in many computers they said in many computers as well as other kind of processors, this adders are used. The higher significant bit of this result is called carry. Okay, now you have the concept of carry and borrow, isn't it? For subtraction you have borrow, for addition you have the concept of carry. Now that particular concept come into picture when you deal with adders. Fine. A combinational circuit that performs the addition of 2 bits is called as half adder. Now if the combinational circuit, a particular circuit, whatever the thing is built, if it is adding 2 bits, then it is called as half adder. Now one that performs addition of 3 bits, 2 significant bit along with the previous carry. Okay, now then it is called as full adder. Now if the particular logical circuit or combinational logic circuit is performing addition of 2 bits, then it is called half adder. And if it is containing 3 bits of addition for a particular for a particular function, then it is called as full adder. Okay, so this is the main concept of adders. Now we will see what is half adder. Okay, in addition of 2 bits is done using combination circuit is called as half adder. The input variables are just a moment, it is augend and addend. Okay, now the thing is, see, you have whenever you have the input variables, now there will be a concept of input as well as output, isn't it? So when you talk about variables, definitely you will be having some inputs to a particular circuit, and ultimately you are expecting some output. But in the half adder concept, they have gone for augend and addend. So bits and output variables are sum and carry. So now augend and addend, they are nothing but 2 bits which are being fed to a particular combinational circuit. That is the meaning. So when you go for augend as well as addend, so this particular concepts are A and B. Okay, they are 2 input bits. Fine. Now that 2 input bits are given to a particular combinational circuit, and ultimately you are expecting a sum as well as carry. In some cases you may get carry, in some cases you may not get carry. That is exceptional part. But ultimately from half adder circuit you are expecting sum as well as carry as an output. That is the meaning. So in the image also you can see A and B is given to HA. HA is nothing but half adder, and it is a combinational circuit. This is half adder. Why? Because this combinational logic circuit is expecting 2 bits, and they go for that addition of 2 bits, and you are going to get sum and carry as an output. Now you can see the truth table. So you have A, B, sum and carry. Okay, now when you add A and B, so for the A and B, when you add 0 and 0, sum is 0, you don't have carry. Now when you add 0 and 1, the sum is 1, you don't have carry. When you add 1 and 0, the sum is 1 and you don't have carry. But when you add 1 and 1, you have sum is 0, but you have 1 carry. So carry position is 1. So ultimately output will be 0 for sum and carry for 1. Something like that you are going to get when A and B are 1. So you can imagine that particular truth table using this above circuit. When A is 1 and B is 1, that 1 and 1 is given to that combinational logic circuit. Ultimately sum will be 0. Sum channel will be having 0 value, and carry channel will be having value 1. This is how you can get the output. That is the actual idea of truth table as well as that circuit, that full adder image. In that image you can see that particular thing. This is how it works. So when you have 2 bits, that is first one is augend and second one is addend. Fine. So this is how this half adder concept works. Now you have some logical expressions. Now we will see how exactly these logical expressions work. So when you have sum equal to a XOR B. Now for sum you have A XOR B, and for carry you have A and B. If that is the function or the expression, logical expression, then implementation will be in the image. You can see how exactly the implementation goes. Now A and B, they are two inputs, AND as well as AND. Now A and B are given to XOR gate for the sum. Now both A and B are given to AND gate for carry. Fine, this is the representation. So XOR gate means definitely it is a OR gate of exclusive. You have one line before the OR gate, but AND gate is nothing but a general AND gate. You don't have new concept here. Now simplified sum of product or SOP expression. So there is one expression here. You can see the expression S equal to X dash Y plus XY dash for sum, and for carry it is XY. Now it is a simplified SOP expression. Okay, now how exactly we are going to deal? So I have taken this particular concept from your textbook. So you have various implementation of half adder. You can concentrate on the left hand side. So you have A to E, total 5 images or 5 implementation technique of half adder. Okay, now you can concentrate on first image A. S equal to XY dash plus X dash Y and C equal to XY. So simplified concept. Now how they have implemented? They have two AND gate. The output of two AND gate is fed to one OR gate, and you are going to get the sum or yes. And for C you have two input along with the one AND gate. Now for X dash or Y dash you are not using any NOT gate here. Okay, in this particular example, so you can see in the input thing, X is given as same as X, and instead of Y they have given Y dash. Here it is not like Y is given to NOT gate, from there you are passing to AND gate. They haven't done that. They just given the input as X as well as Y dash, and the second input is X dash and Y, and the output will be given to the OR gate to get the sum. That is the image of A. For B image, what they are doing? So they have two OR gate. The output of OR gate is given to the AND gate to get the sum. What is the expression? X plus Y and X dash plus Y dash for sum, and for carry obviously X into Y. The same concept again they have gone for. And for the image C, what they are doing? They have the expression like C plus X dash Y dash whole dash. Now what is C? It is again XY, isn't it? C is nothing but XY. Fine. Now X dash Y dash, how they are giving the input? X dash Y dash is given to AND gate, as well as X and Y is given to AND gate. The output of both is given to one OR gate, and you are NOTing. Ultimately you are getting the NOT, you are doing the NOT operation to get the sum or yes. And carry, it is same, X into Y. You don't have any change in C or carry. Next, for D, what you are going to do? So the expression expression is X plus Y into X dash plus Y dash. Now for C it is X dash plus Y dash to the whole dash. How to represent using the logic circuit? So it is XY is fed to OR gate, as well as X dash Y dash also fed to OR gate, and the output of both OR gate is fed to one AND gate, as well as for C it is fed to NOT gate. Because why it is for C, why they are feeding that particular output to NOT gate? Because you have to get the whole dash thing, isn't it? X dash plus Y dash whole dash. That whole dash is nothing but one NOT gate. Fine. This is how it works in D image. For E image, what they have done? For yes, they have gone for XOR gate. So X XOR Y, and for C it is XY. So based on that, they have built that particular circuit. Now the explanation, you can see the logic diagram for this implementation is shown in that 4.2a. So as are 4 other implementations for a half adder, they all achieve the same result as far as the input output behavior is concerned. Okay, so as far as the input output behavior is concerned, they illustrate the flexibility available to designer when implementing even a simple combinational logic function such as this. So whenever you are going for a particular thing, so they can go for the flexibility, it is available, the flexibility is available, and they can go for simple combinational logic function. And for 4.2a, so they mentioned above, is the implementation of half adder in sum of product form. So it is in a SOP form. And for figure 4.2b, it is the implementation of POS or product of sum. You can see the B, image B. The image A is SOP, sum of product, and image B is product of sum. Why? So they have given a particular, they have used a particular combinational circuit. Next, S equal to X plus Y and X dash plus Y dash. Ultimately, you are going to get XY. Fine. So S is X plus Y and X dash plus Y dash. C is X into Y. To obtain the implementation of 4.2c, we note that S is the exclusive OR of X and Y. The complement of S is equivalence of X and Y. So S dash equal to XY plus X dash Y dash. So they have gone for the complement of S. Now, but C equal to XY, so therefore we have S equal to C plus X dash Y dash whole dash. So you can see C image, you can see the C image. So here, so they have gone for the implementation based on the complement thing. Fine. So that is the reason why they get S equal to C plus X dash Y dash whole dash. Fine. Now for figure 4.2D, now you can concentrate on D image. We use the product of sum or POS implementation with C derived as. Now how they have derived the C? So they derived the C in the following form: C equal to XY, that is also equal to X dash plus Y dash to the whole dash. Now when you go for X dash plus whole Y dash to the whole dash, ultimately it can be represented as X into Y as well. Okay, the half adder can be implemented with the exclusive OR and gate as shown in the figure E. So they have gone for XOR gate as well as AND gate. So this half adder can be implemented in that fashion also. Fine. So this form is used later to show that two half adder circuits are needed to construct a full adder circuit. Why you require two half adder? Because see, full adder will take 3 bits along with the 2 bits along with one carry, isn't it? So ultimately you require two half adder things to construct one full adder circuit. Okay, so these are the some of the information they have given along with the expressions, along with the circuits. So these are the some of the various implementation of half adder. The half adder can be implemented in the following images. So these are the some of the concepts I just wanted to discuss on this particular video. In the upcoming video we will see how exactly you can build the full adder circuit. Okay, so this half adder circuit, full adder circuit, and all these things are required for combinational logic circuit or building of combinational logic circuit. Okay, so if you have any doubt you can get back to me, but make sure that you go through these concepts and you can try to write all these the half adder circuits so that you don't forget. Okay, you should not forget this. Fine. So let me wind up the video here. So if you have any doubt you can get back to me. Okay, thanks for watching.